When you wanted to open a standalone Java Minecraft server that players could join at any time, you would need to run some server softwares. In this video, we're gonna talk about all kinds of Java Minecraft server softwares to help you to learn the history and decide which one you should use to set up your server. The official Java Minecraft server softwares are available for each versions, including the preview versions of the game, and you could find them in the official website or the wiki. It is usually being called as the vanilla server. The vanilla server is of course the one that gives the player the most original, no frills experience, with no plugins or mods and no special configurations. It had some advantages like it is available for every preview versions of the game, but it can run slowly if you are hosting for more than a few players or you wanted to build larger structures. Plus, other than data packs or resource packs, there isn't really any way to customize your game. In the early days, there were some modified Minecraft servers to add special features and changes to the gameplay. One of the most famous one is the hMod for Minecraft alpha and beta versions that enabled players to install plugins to the server. Around 2011, the original developer of hMod stopped working on the project, and many other developers in the team started to working on a brand new Minecraft server mod, CraftBukkit, by themselves. It then became the most popular Minecraft server plugin platform. CraftBukkit provided a Bukkit API, which enabled developers to easily code plugins without the need to going deep into the original game codes. CraftBukkit community and itself continues to develop rapidly, and it gets added many more features including performance improvements, but its actual performance is still not so great, especially when you added lots of plugins. Today, CraftBukkit is more of just in people's memories as there are many better options. In 2012, some developers saw the issues of CraftBukkit and built upon it to release Spigot to address performance issues and added more useful features. There used to be many different improved versions of CraftBukkit, but only Spigot stand out with various optimizations added together providing the best performance. Spigot also provided its own Spigot API for developers to build the plugins more easily, while also being compatible with plugins built with Bukkit API. These two platforms lived happily together for a few years, with many developers creating plugins for both platforms. However, around 2015, the CraftBukkit project got into some legal issues with Mojang in copyrights and decided to shut down. Since CraftBukkit modified and used the original Minecraft server code and distributed them on their website, it violated Mojang's end-user license agreement and other legal acts. Some people might be thinking most server softwares is modified from the vanilla Minecraft server, why only the CraftBukkit got into these issues and not others like Spigot. Spigot indeed also got hit by this, but they did not give up, instead used a very smart way to around this. To get a Spigot server software today, you have to download their build tools to build the Spigot by yourself on your own computer. This means Spigot MC are not directly distributing Mojang's code. Instead, they are providing the tool to the user to compile their own modified server software. Also, Spigot MC is kind enough to also maintaining the Bukkit project to this day as well. Spigot is still getting updated for every stable versions of the game to this day. It is still quite popular in the server hosting that provides the plugin support and basic performance optimizations while keeping the vanilla flavor of the game. But it's not perfect. User would need to use the build tools to build new versions of the Spigot every time, and changes can still be made to improve the server performance, especially for larger servers. Some developers developed Paper in 2017 based on Spigot to address these issues. Paper, used to be called Paper Spigot, is developed used its own paperclip technology, which provided a server launcher file to download on their website that only contains the modified code to the original server file. When user running the launcher for the first time, it will automatically compile the modified code to the original server file and build the actual server software. This circumvented the copyright issues while still being convenient to the user, as they would simply run the launcher file like vanilla server. Since Paper is based on Spigot, it is also compatible with Spigot plugins. with Bukkit API and Spigot API support, plus its own Paper API for plugins. It added huge number of optimizations to server performance, security, and stability. I would really recommend Paper for running most plugin servers as its performance improvements is significant even without tweaking any configurations. Another thing that makes Paper special is that it patches most vanilla bugs or glitches by default. This can be a good thing for commercial servers to prevent users to take advantages. While some patches can be disabled in the configurations, there are still some patches like the bugs that enable send duplications that cannot be turned off. For people that just wanted to have fun with their friends and don't mind using these vanilla bugs or glitches, I'd recommend a fork of Paper that is relatively new, the Purpur. Born in 2019, it is the one that I would like to use almost every time I start a server. It gives you tons of configurations, so you can make campfire not lit when it's been placed, make sponges absorb lava, or stonecutters to make damages when you step on it. Also, you got the ability to turn off most back patches from Paper. There is many more other Paper forks, but none of them really became more popular than the Paper itself. This video won't spend a lot of time on them, but here are some for you to experiment if you want more aggressive performance optimizations for really big servers that have hundreds or thousands of players. All the previous server softwares we talked about are based solely on the Bukkit API, or I would call them the Bukkit family. Now we're going to check out server softwares for modded server with Forge API or Fabric API. For server softwares that supports both plugins and mods, the complexity to implement multiple APIs together is quite high, making this kind of server softwares usually only supported only a few major game versions. First of all, the Vanilla Forge. Like the name, it's just vanilla Minecraft server software added with Forge API, which means they only supported Forge API mods and does not support any plugins. It's available for every version of the game that Forge supports, and most of the mod packs server would come with this basic vanilla Forge server for the most compatibility. But its performance is just like the vanilla server, which is quite bad. The earliest server software that supported both the Bukkit API and Forge API is called MCPC Plus, later changed its name to Cauldron since the game version 1.7.10, and it stopped getting updated at the same game version. There are a few improved versions of Cauldron like K-Cauldron, Thermos, Contigo, Uranium, but they all only supported up to version 1.7.10 and stopped getting updates. For newer 1.12.2 versions, there is Cat Server, which is based on Spigot. It supports Bukkit API and Spigot API and Forge API, and having a pretty stable performance than the vanilla Forge server after a long term of development. It has newer version of the game supports, but they are less stable than its base 1.12.2 version. For even newer version of the game, there's Arclight, that is also based on Spigot, and Magma and Mohist, that is based on Paper with Forge API support. For servers that supports both plugins and mods, they all have more or less small compatibility or stability issues depending on different mods and plugins combinations. There isn't really a best one, so sometimes you have to try multiple of them by yourself on your server. After all these Bukkit plus Forge server, there is another plugin or mod server platform worth mentioning, the Sponge, including Sponge Vanilla and Sponge Forge. It started back in the CraftBukkit era when some developer wanted to make a new server software unlike CraftBukkit that is not mod compatible and hard for developers to make plugins. They developed their own Sponge API and made Sponge Forge that can be launched by just adding itself to the original vanilla Forge server. Sadly, Sponges with its Sponge API never gained much popularity, as developers are all developing plugins for the more popular Bukkit family. Its compatibility to the mods are also a hit or miss. Not many people are using it unless they need to use exclusive Sponge API plugins on their server. And with Forge API servers, Another newer popular modding platform is Fabric. In Minecraft Java version 1.13, its game code got significantly revamped than previous 1.12 versions. This makes all the plugins and modding platforms, including Forge, taking longer time to support 1.13 versions of the game. In this about half-year period of time, some of the smaller modding platforms come up to the stage like Rift API or Fabric API. Fabric API already appeared in 1.12 version of the game, but just like the sponge, it never caught attention as developers are all building mods to the more popular Forge API. This half-year window period really makes the Fabric API shine to the public with its lightweight and modular designs, which made it really easy to update to the newer version of the game. Vanilla Fabric server also existed that allowed users to install Fabric mods to the server. There is a few Bukkit API plus Fabric API server like this one that have a pretty interesting name, but it never get many popularity and it's currently discontinued. Fabric API have lots of mods that improves clients or server performance without the need of modifying the server software itself, like these that you probably want to install on your Fabric server. After all of these, some people probably already found that they all are around the original Minecraft base server and relies on the original Minecraft server code. Actually, there are some all original, made from scratch server software for Java version of Minecraft. That does not utilize or relies on any original Minecraft code. One of them is Glowstone, which supported all the Bukkit, Spigot, Paper APIs and its own Glowstone API. Another one is Cuberite, that have cross-game version compatibility and can even run a Java Minecraft server on your Android devices like smartphones. While they may look appetizing with many cool features, well, unless you're just having fun or doing experiments, I don't really recommend using them on the actual server as they are completely new server software, so you may experience significantly different gameplay experience than the original game. And that's the end of this video. I know there might be some that I didn't mention in this video, so leave it in the comments. Hope this video helped you learn something new and please press like and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.